Hey guys, how's it going? Well, today I'm going to just show you a very handy tool that you're going to need to have in your toolkit if you work with any kind of radios that are XTS radios and you have them come in. This is an RF adapter. These adapters, if you're going to use an external mic on your XTS 3000, 5000, 2500, 1500 radio, you need this RF adapter. That's with an antenna. What it does is you remove this and there's a cap that goes over this that's hooked onto the mic accessory, and it looks much like this when it's on, except the actual where it has the public safety mic, it does have an apparatus that will go up over this and it will engage this center pin right here, and it will carry your signal from the radio through the mic up to the mic head with the antenna. XTS 3000, or I mean HT 1000s and Jedi units, they had a pin right here. Well, it's not present on the 5000, 2500 XTS series. They did away with that. What they came up with was this. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of a mic being on a mic, or an antenna being on a mic head. There's just not really that much advantage I see if you're going to have the radio on your belt, to have the mic have an antenna on it like a public safety mic. I just don't see the signal being any stronger than it normally would be. I think it's just kind of superficial. But you can see here the damage on this particular adapter and this housing. This is a parts radio. And it's a shame, you know, because what somebody did here, and I'll tell you one thing, I'll get to it in a minute, but when you take a unit like this off, you have to have the tool. There's no get around it. This actually, they do come with a cap, but you can always, you know, have your antenna on the unit like this when you're just using it regularly, and you can still hook an external audio adapter on it. But you know, for most cases, when you get a radio like this in and you see this on here, it's difficult to see how to get this thing off. People have asked me, and what you're seeing here is you're seeing a nut right down here. The only way to get to that without doing what has been done here by a gorilla, well-meaning gorilla, but a gorilla, is the guy either put it on or took it off without the proper tool. Now, I'll tell you one thing. When I had my first XTS radio years and years ago, it came with one of these, and when I got it, I didn't know how to get the thing off. I thought, man, you know, it should just spin right off. I didn't see that nut because it really kind of masks. It's kind of masked over this lip that's on the housing itself. So it's difficult to see and it's difficult to get to. And if you take a screwdriver, if you try an ignition key, you know, you can try a lot of different things. Best thing to do is just get the right tool. And I figure I had this radio, and I'd just show you how to do it. It just slides in just like this. You remove it simply, and you don't do any damage to the housing. So when you have a radio, make sure that you have the proper tool to do that with, to remove this. they're a pain in the butt, unless you've got like an XTVA and you're using a converticom. Once you get these loose, you can kind of spin it with your finger and you say, I know how it comes off. Well, you know, at the same time, the wrench does it right, and it gets it done without this. I've seen a lot of them on eBay, a lot of RF adapters. They're expensive, they're not cheap. I've had them, I've sold them. They go good on the XTVAs. But what's in here is there's a, you see that post? That post goes in the receptacle right here. On my first XTS 3000, or XTS, yeah, it was the 3000, years and years and years ago, I tried to remove one of these without knowing what I was doing. And I thought, son of a bitch, that thing won't come off, it won't unscrew. Why won't it unscrew? It should just unscrew. And I broke the fin on that. Dumbass move, but you know, I mean, it was a legitimate mistake, and it's something that I've seen several radios have come through my shop that look like this, and that's something that I really want to avoid. So you know, by all means, pick up a tool that will do the job, just like the Moto tools, this RF tool. I've had several people just recently ask me about this. How do you get these things off? Well, this is how you get them off and on. Getting them on is a little bit more difficult, I think. They're a pain in the ass, but these radios, these RF adapters do allow signal to carry through an external antenna. It bypasses your regular antenna. This thing swivels once it's engaged. It'll swivel only until it tightens, and then it'll lock in to the groove. That's the groove lock right there. You need to keep your thumb on here, but you can put a cover. I don't know if I've done another take of this. If I have, I'm repeating myself, but screw it. This is, my videos haven't been, I do my best, let's put it that way. And I'm not doing a retake of it. Most videos you see, I've done at least one take of it already. But yeah, even just to get this thing on here, you'll feel it lock down. Once it locks down, it's on there tight. But make sure that you use the proper tool to do it, because I really hate to see radios come in that look like this. You know, radios with these adapters on them are no problem if you've got the right tool to take it off with. If you don't have the right tool to take it off with, you've got a problem. And that's the end result right there. That's a perfect example of somebody who's taken probably some type of screwdriver, you know, and tried to, because when you put this on, you put a little bit of torque on here to tighten it down so it doesn't come loose and it stays on tight. You know, it's not going anywhere, so it's on tight. Well, when it's on that tight, you just can't work a screwdriver around that. It's not going to work. So by all means, you know, get a hold of one of these. They're very, very useful. You know, they're not cheap. None of the Moto tools are cheap. But, you know, NTN A270 and NTN A270B. And it's just a simple Moto tool. But to take it off, again, you've got a nut here. This just bypasses your antenna. When you put the mic on, there's a little cover that'll go over that, and signal will carry up to your mic head, and you have your antenna on that. To get this thing off, you just slide it in under that, and you just work it off. That's really all there is to it. But if you don't have the right tool to do it with, and this isn't really the perfect tool, I don't think there is a perfect tool, but it's the right tool for the job. It's the best that they've come up with. So be careful when you go around it. As you can tell, it's loosening up a little bit. And you can kind of just work the nut off. That's how it comes off. Now it's starting to spin, so it's almost off. I think I can take my finger and just kind of go along it. And it should lift off in a second. But anyway, NTN, A2, whatever I said. But they're very good. These things do usually come with a thread protector on them. And you need to remove that before you put it on the radio. It just kind of protects the threads. There we go. Haven't worked with a tripod in a while, so. But yeah, make sure that you get a hold of one of these tools if you are going to work with RF adapters. It's an 8270. And yeah, this radio, it's a good radio. The housing's still not bad. RF adapter still works on it, but you do need the proper tools. Just like with anything else, you know, you're going to need the proper tool for the job, and this is the proper tool to do it with. So, but yeah, when I had my first XTS 3000 so many years ago, I broke the fin on that, and man, I tell you, that really sucked. But, you know, lesson learned. But you do have to line this up, and you do have to get it properly seated. They could have made it easier, but, you know, they didn't. But a tech, you know, is going to tighten that pretty tight. So, you know, once it's tight, it's not going anywhere. And that's really what you want, but you don't want it to stay that way. You know, you want to be able to get the thing off, but you do need to torque it down to get it on there and get it on there tight. Once it's on there tight, plan on leaving it on your radio. You know, if you're going to use your radio, just slide your antenna over it. 800 megahertz radios for some reason come like this. A lot of them have RF adapters. I don't know why people that you know, use 800 megahertz use these adapters so much. I hate them, but at the same time, I don't think there's really any advantage unless you're on an XTVA, you know, with an outside antenna. Having one on your shoulder doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's it. Simple. It's not a fast video, it's not a quick video, but it's the best I could do. And to get it off, you just simply back it out. I'm not going to go any further with this, but anyway, make sure you get a hold of one of these. Get a hold of a moto tool if you're going to take the housing off. It's very important. Don't use a screwdriver, use a proper tool. And that should do it. Take it easy, guys. Later on.